Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Hello, this is Womanity Africa on your digital first Pan-African network, TOS Television. I am Ruwa Panawa. Now, you know I'm never alone. Yes, I have amazing guests with me today on the show, and I have my amazing co-host with me.
And I am Cynthia Ezekoro, and welcome to another mind-blowing episode of Womanity Africa. And today we'll be talking about the concept of feminism.
Yes, absolutely. I did tell you that I'm not alone, that I have amazing guests with me. So hello to Excel Oduru, creative entrepreneur, life coach, and director. I'm very sorry about that. You have like a wide range of this thing, and I'm so proud of that. And hello to Ahmed Bello, writer, filmmaker, and entrepreneur. It's lovely to have you both on the show.
My pleasure here.
It's so lovely to have you on the show. So,
talking about feminism,
Yes.
I think it's a general term that actually defines the uniformity against men and women, and it's actually a social movement about gender roles.
okay.
So what do you have to say about it?
Anyway, okay, to be clear, before we just go ahead, because I feel like Cynthia has already chosen a side. So before we go ahead, we're going to talk about the modern concept of feminism. I'm going to talk about literally the traditional concept of feminism, the way it was in the olden days, and what exactly is happening now, okay? So before we go on, I really just want to know, and I would really appreciate a story from either of you. I think I'll rather start with Excel, so that when it gets heated up, because now there are like 3. So I really appreciate a story from you. At what point did you feel like we had moved past the phase, like we'd moved from one phase of feminism to the other? What happened that made you feel like, see, something's off somewhere? That's if you feel that something's off.
Okay, yes. As a woman, even though feminism is not limited to gender, I have been attacked before for a particular action I took. So sometimes we are opportunity to take public transport. And there's a tradition in some people's minds where a man should not sit by the extreme end of the door, right? No, a man should sit there, not a woman if there's a man in the car, in the vehicle, right? So I was the last person to approach the vehicle, and when I was trying to enter the car, this man just blurted out like, "Can you imagine? Why are you going?" I'm like, "Okay."
Wow.
And people supported him, saying, I should be in the middle. I should not sit by the door. I'm like, okay. Okay, I'll watch you drag me or something. Then at that point, I realized that feminism is more than a movement. It's an action you take. You take a stand. So I did not just feel attacked. I felt under pressure to do something. That there's a notion, there's a mindset that people already have. There's a perception people have put on the opposite sex, being women.
Yes.
And how we should move, how we should do everything from the waking moment till we go back to bed. So that is my story, and since then, feminism is a movement. That's what I'm just going to say.
No, I feel guilty for asking you first, because it's like you've already said it. But I really want to know, Ahmed, tell me, do you feel like there's been a shift from the traditional concept of feminism? Is there, because these days, you literally hear things about, like, apart from, there was a time that people were fighting for women to be able to have the right to open bank accounts. And these days, it's just like as if, oh, I'm just fighting for the right for a guy to pay for me, all that kind of stuff. So, do you think that there's a shift? And so far, how far? What do you think about it?
Before we talk about the shift, we need to go back to the past. Now, I think feminist movement is un-African. Let's face the truth. Firstly,
African.
it's un-African.
Okay.
Now, we had the concept of feminism in Africa before the Westerners brought feminism to Africa. Now, we've had strong women in the past before colonial era came to be. We had the likes of Moremi, we had the likes of Queen Amina of Zaria.
Yes, yes.
You understand, we've had very great women who did great things in Africa. and there was no one segregating them or marginalizing them. Do you get my point? They've done
Go
great
on.
things and no one stopped them from doing great things.
Okay.
Now, consciousness came to be when Westerners came to Africa and we began to copy their movements. Now, we're not just fighting for equality of both genders, but they're fighting for different waves of feminism, where women feel okay, they could stand alone without men. Some feel okay, they could abort babies. Now, that's where the concept of modern feminism comes to be.
Okay.
Now, modern feminism is selfish. I'm sorry to say, it's selfish. That's the truth. Now, the likes of Buchi Emecheta, the four founders of feminism in Africa, the likes of Buchi Emecheta, the likes of Aminata Ba of Senegal, those people fought for women's rights, not for women,
No, go ahead.
women being superior to men or women being independent.
Okay.
Africa has always been a land of moral values. Now, if you've read this book, Mother's Choice, I don't know if you're familiar with it, by Buchi Emecheta. Good. You will get to see what she was fighting for. She was fighting for the suffering of women, but not for immoral things or selfishness,
So
like modern feminism is doing right now.
Okay, so just so we're clear, because now I've gotten two different perspectives from both of you, and that's going to lead us to our next question. But just so we're clear, because when I asked this question, it came from the perspective of places where you've literally, just by virtue of being a woman, you've been treated on unequal terms, and you came from perspective where it's like, this isn't even for us in the first place. So this leads me to my next question. Why is there always this unhealthy, tense stuff that comes up whenever we bring up the idea of feminism? Like, why it's always been there in the picture, like, oh, once there's the idea of, typically when you even hear about somebody being a feminist, your first instinct is either to align with them or write them off. And why is it so? Why isn't it just a regular movement like, oh no, I'm a Marxist or I'm a this and that? Why isn't it just, what do you think about that?
It's because they gave it a name.
Okay.
Before we knew that women had to speak up, like you said, with the names he mentioned, women started to become aware. But since it was tagged feminism, it felt like a threat. Most people just can't handle threats. You can't just say you want to be, why? Why do you want to be a feminist? You should do your role and carry out your basic duties. But when you now put the name tag there, it tips people off, hence the argument.
Okay, I don't know what you think about that.
Now, what she's trying to say in essence is that it's always been there.
Okay.
But it became a threat when the name came to be feminism, and it became a movement where women began to fight for different rights. You understand?
Okay.
The initial values feminists were fighting for is different from what people are fighting for right now. Do you get it?
I have a counter approach for that, but go on.
Yeah, what they were fighting for initially is different from what our people presently, this generation, are fighting for.
Okay.
The values are contrasting. They're of two different worlds apart.
Okay.
I don't know if you get it.
Okay, now Cynthia and I were having a discussion, like when we were discussing this stuff, we almost fought, but we didn't fight.
Sorry, look at me here thinking that feminism is all about this self-confidence.
And all of that.
Yes,
We're going
yes.
to get to that, but basically the aspect I'm coming from is this whole concept of feminism being one-sided or people changing, or it's changing rather from the way it used to be and all that. There's an argument for that. Apparently, before, the things that triggered it are different from what triggers it now. So the idea is, okay, it's still feminism, they're just different problems. Do you get, like, And I don't know how you feel about that per se. It's like, okay, then women were fighting for the right to walk without the company of a man. They're fighting for the right to open their own bank accounts without having to go with their husbands. But now they're fighting for different things. So what's your take on that? Basically, it's like, okay, those aren't problems anymore. Now we have other problems.
Can you
Like
give me an idea of what they're fighting for right now?
That's why we are here. Please let us know. Because, and we know that there's been a shift, exactly. But is it entirely bad to a large extent or to any extent?
Can I talk?
Please.
Now, let's look at it this way. Just like I said before, this whole thing came to be when the foreigners came to our land. Prior to that, Africa was okay. Nigeria was okay. If you ask our grandparents, they'll tell you, no, we're fine. We're fine with our fathers, with our husbands having 4 wives. They'll tell you they are cool with it. They are cool with their husband's desires. Then it began to evolve to what it is right now. And before then, our own parents would tell you, no, they're fine too. You understand? But what we are facing right now is caused by imperialism. Do you get it? We're trying to copy what the Westerners are doing. We're trying to, but we should also know that this is a third world country. Do you get it? Now, whatever they're doing
I can
in
see
Europe,
you're disagreeing, and this is what I'm looking for.
what they're doing in Europe is, this is Africa.
Okay.
Do you get it? And that's one thing we always tend to forget. Whatever they're doing in Europe or in the US is different from what we're doing here. Our values are different. Our culture is different. I'm not saying a man is superior to a woman, no. But in the past, women did great things. Women led, they ruled, they fought, they led war, they led so many movements. If we go back to our history books, they did really, really great things. And they were fine. But I guess we want more. We want more because of what we see others doing in the European world. We want to be like them.
Excel.
And that's what we're facing right now.
Okay, before we go on the replay, just tell us exactly what you're thinking. Because tell us what you're thinking.
I'm starting to feel like he's not happy that we gained insights. We became aware.
Exactly. Please
We
explain
woke
that.
up. Even if it's not an African thing,
Okay.
we've evolved. We've grown. You can't just bring Western clothes and Western traditions and we'll not open our eyes to see how the Western people perceive certain things. I don't have to come back home in the evening and you are there and you can't do the dishes or you can't clean. I'm not subjecting it to domestic household chores, but it's still okay if the man is aware that he can still do basic things. This is just one side of the feminism
I've never
talking
seen
about.
my father doing dishes before.
I'm sorry you didn't see him do these
very
things,
unhappy
but
to see my dad doing dishes.
this is the problem right here. This is the problem.
I'm sure you feel unhappy
I
to
think
see
the
your dad doing
problem
dishes
is
too.
it's on the people that send the message across. Yes.
I'm sure you feel unhappy to see your dad doing dishes too.
Sure. Yes.
My dad cooked, made breakfast for us, took us to school, packed our lunch boxes. It was the norm. And he didn't just do it immediately, like it happened suddenly, life happened. And he found himself in these situations. And rather than him force us into child labor, he did these things. And I'm not saying he's not the Western man, well-traveled. You can't do these things. It is not subjected to one side, right? And it's not wrong for us as Africans, even if it's not African. But now we're aware. We are the updated versions of our parents. Our mindset did not start where their own started. We started where it stopped.
Aware because there's social media.
Because our eyes
aware
opened.
Aware because the world because the world is connected and you can see what's happening in the outside
If you say it like this, you make it look like there were phones in the olden days. The Western people came.
Fine.
They taught us, we were exposed. And
So
we realized,
who's to blame?
no, but nobody's blaming anybody. But accept that now we know these things. Now it's okay to share. It's okay to partner. It's don't feel threatened. Don't feel like, you doing it is wrong. It's okay.
And do you know that this is part of the reasons why we're having so many divorce rates right now?
Divorces.
Yes.
Why would you say that?
Now, a lot of guys are scared of getting married. A lot of women are also scared of getting married. In fact, I'm scared. of getting
Tell us.
married, to be honest with you, because
And sorry to cut in, but you think that is
it's part
a
of yes.
result
He's
of
going to share-
a new
he's going to
interpretation?
It's
Put
a
more
movement
light
that
on
is
why.
affecting so many things.
Please
right
tell
now.
us
Okay.
so we can probably address this right
Do you
now.
understand? You see a woman who tells you, I must work.
Okay.
Now, before it's good, it's okay for a woman to work.
Okay, so he has said it's okay.
I'm not saying
Okay.
it's not good for a woman to work. But if you're starting up a family, do you get it? You're starting up a family, you have to consider your children. Now look at this. A couple get married.
Okay.
The first 2-3 years they have a child, right? The woman goes to work, maybe she takes the child to work, right? Now, she's overusing herself, taking care of herself, taking care of the child, right?
Okay.
Now, let's say the child begins to go to kindergarten or nursery school. She drops the child off at a nanny, what they call it, daycare. Now, the child is going to suffer because she wants to go to work. The child will suffer. You know why? That's the stage where the child needs the mom most. I'm sorry to say, growing up for me, my mom had always been a businesswoman, but there was never a time she wasn't there for me. There was never a time I would come back from school and I wouldn't see her. As I'm coming back, she's telling me, bring your bag. She's checking my books. I used to be a very stubborn boy. She checks if my books are complete, if my ruler is there, my pencil, my barrel is there.
Okay.
There was never a time she left me with someone to look after me. There was never a time she would take me to a daycare where someone is looking after me.
Can I cut in here?
Now, my
Okay.
fear right now is the women of today would tell you, you should look after the child too. There's nothing wrong with it. But the mother is always there. The mother is the prime person to look after a child. That's why they say mother's tongue, not father's tongue.
That is mother's tongue.
Mother's
okay.
tongue.
No.
The mother's tongue is the first tongue the child learns. L1. That is the first language the child learns. That's the mother's tongue. The child says mama first, not papa. Do you get it? The affinity between the child and the mom is primus before that of the father.
Okay.
Do you get it?
I
But
do
women
get
of
that.
today will tell you no. They'll tell you, no, we have to do it equally. You should come back from work and look after the child. I need to work too. I need to satisfy myself. I
Do
need to
you
leave.
see how you centered feminism around the woman in the home?
No, I'm
From,
just...
do you see how you started the whole story of marriage? It was her, she,
No.
she, the kids, her. Where did you come in?
That's what I'm trying to say.
No, that's not what you're trying to
No.
say.
What I'm trying to say in essence is this. They could reach they don't even need to reach an agreement.
Okay.
There's understanding. This is a family, not a contract. Now, my fear is the kind of marriages we want to commit ourselves to these days is a contract marriage. Like before you get married, you know what? There's a terms and condition. Husband, I'm going to do this on the condition that this happens. Woman, you are going to do this on the condition that this happens. That's what we want to do. That's what we're trying to do in this age.
And just so we're clear, this is as a result of the fact that feminism isn't something that was originally ours.
It wasn't
and
originally
we
ours.
copied
We're
it.
fine.
And so before we go on a break, because we're about to go on a break, this is getting really heated up. So before we go on a break, Excel, you have the opinion that basically the whole aspect of feminism was just we really waking up. There was no way that we could have just gotten one aspect from the Westerners, and this is a good thing. This idea of us deciding that equality and equity is good, and you're not really too keen on that either.
No, that's our problem.
Okay.
We'll be right back after we go meet our Women Crush Wednesday.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
So welcome back, guys. We're still here discussing the modern concept of feminism with Excel Oduru and Ahmed. And now, before we actually, when we went on a break, Ahmed said something. He said, I'm a traditional person. And Excel rolled up her sleeves. So It's actually going to get tougher here, but I'm going to start with Excel because I feel like Anklet has really been throwing us off. So not like off per se, you get, but it's been blowing my mind. So please tell me, some people are of the concept of the idea that feminism actually has made self-confidence a thing. The idea of knowing that there are things that you can do for yourself as a woman and all of that. And I've even met male feminists, per se, that believe in the whole equality thing without bringing it down to basic things like, okay, being domesticated and all of that, which I think might be a problem. So what's your take on that? How do you think that this actually pertains to self-confidence for anybody? Because feminists apparently are not just men, are not just women. So how do you think this pertains to self-confidence?
To come out and say you're a feminist, you have a level of confidence already because you'll be attacked. What do you want to be feminist for? And being self-confident is you speaking against everything Africa has known from inception. There are things you shouldn't do.
I'm sorry, smiling.
That's how things are supposed to be. Oh, yeah, thank God he shed a lot of light. And as much as I want to caress his fear, I plead to differ.
Okay.
We have gone really far way past that. Okay, now it's okay to raise a home and with understanding. Women want to do more than just sit at home and have kids. We've realized that we have so much power. We don't just want to run errands or just be an item at home. We want to do things, we want to change the world. And the opposite sex is threatened.
Threatened. Yes. Okay.
Now that women have started speaking. Okay. And there's nothing wrong. So take the bull by the horn, get enlightened, understand that this is actually an eye-opener. It will make the world a better place for me.
Okay.
So like speaking for what, so you support those people that go on social media to talk about things about feminism, that it's okay to be on the same line with the man.
Yes.
You're in total support of them. Because the reason why we're really keen on the modern concept is because, to an extent, it's so easy to see things from your perspective. Even as a woman, when he said something about the woman stressing herself when she decides to work and take the child, she's stressing herself. And frankly, in fact, even me as a woman, sometimes I just want to sit back and be taken care of. So there are times that all those things come up, and nowadays the way people interpret it, as the way most people interpret it, especially on social media, and even apart from that, I get those kind of angles, but the interpretation now of feminism, it comes like it's from a very selfish point of view for women. So the aspect you're coming from, I guess it, but it's almost like that's not the exact interpretation that we get. You said feminism is an action, and those are not the kind of actions that we see these days.
Because some people have misunderstood it.
So it's based
like
on
you said, selfish.
Okay.
If you can, you should. If you can't, you don't have to. If you can't do work, raise the kids, be there, do the whole round, then it's okay.
So your perspective is on not feeling like as if you have to choose one.
No, yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
You
don't have to choose.
You don't have
just
to
do.
choose.
Like, I am very independent.
Okay.
Notice how I stress it.
Very independent.
And I'm
very
so proud.
independent.
Thank you.
I wouldn't want the opposite sex to feel threatened.
Okay.
When it comes to choosing a life partner or us being in the same space. But I want you to understand that this is who I am. This is who I've chosen to be. I might be able to go to work, juggle school with the kids, and still take care of the home. But if peradventure I can't do one of these, nothing stops you from doing school run. It's true that I became one to bring forth children. Okay. You also have a role to play. You can also come back from work and do the dishes and make dinner. It's okay. We're partners. Don't sit there, cross your leg, and be on TV and be like, oh, she's gonna come back and we just go, really? No, right?
Okay.
Can I
yes, please come in.
Okay. I want to say this. The moment you call yourself a feminist, you're already making yourself weak. You're already showing your fear.
That's a bold statement, okay?
Yeah. The real feminists are not on social media, tweeting. The real feminists are in action.
That's why I said action.
Do you get it? what's your own contribution to feminism? What's your own contribution to empowering women?
It's a way of life. It's
You
not
know,
just being on
it's
social
like
media
culture.
and being behind keypads.
It's not just being
So
on social
when
media.
you-
taking-
'cause
That's
Say-
what is everywhere now.
When you,
Do you understand?
okay, that's why I said people have misunderstood it.
Okay.
They see it as fighting with their keypads. Feminism is a way of life. It's you. You carry it with you. It's in you. You walk, you talk, your actions, your results show feminism. It's not by being so. Please do not use the word weakness. It's far from it. It's all types of strength. It's all types of
strength.
boldness.
Okay.
Why the reason why I said weakness is because, just like I said earlier, women have been doing great things.
Were they behind the keypads doing these great things? No.
And there was never a time where they came out to fight. No, women must do this. Women must. They were doing it effortlessly. They didn't have to fight any man. They didn't have to fight any group of men to stand out and say, "No, I want to do this." Queen Amina never fought with any man.
But you know, because some stories did not make it to social media or make it to national television does not mean it did not happen.
Because if you were to come from that kind of angle per se, I think nobody has really had a problem with Queen Amina and all of that. Like, we have accepted that the same way we accepted that Nelson Mandela existed.
Do you
and
know
all
there's someone I really admire. She's in the Northeast.
Okay.
She's the head of the vigilante group there. She goes into the forest to fight Boko Haram. She's not out there shouting, "I'm a feminist." Go read about her.
But talking,
get
if you're coming from that perspective, I'd like to share a story per se, because I talked about recently. I noticed that when it comes to being profiled as a woman, you literally don't have to do anything. I've literally been called. I've had vulgar words used on me by bikeman, rather, a motorcyclist, when he drove off with my bag and still insulted me in the process. And I just thought that you can't do this to a guy, like. You won't even try it. So by virtue of the fact that you're a woman, there are certain things that just happen to you. So if you're coming from that angle, if you keep mentioning people like Queen Amina and all of that, we've also accepted them the same way we accepted that Barack Obama and Nelson Mandela. Those are actual great people. But if I were to ask you now that in those days, the fact that like you said, people had no problems with having 4 or 5, their husbands having 4 or 5 wives, and now there's a problem with that, and you think that that's a problem?
No.
Okay.
And yes.
No and yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
No is because they were cool with it.
Okay.
Do you get it? They were cool with it. For the Muslims, the non-Muslims, even the non-Muslims had 4 or 5 wives. They were cool with it. I don't preach polygamy. I'm not in support of it. I don't like it. But what I'm trying to say is, you see women of today saying, no, I can do without a man. No, if you marry another woman, the world is going to end.
Children eat. Okay.
That's why I said no and yes.
Okay.
Do you get it? So what I'm trying to say in essence is, our own problem, the problem of modern feminism today is copy. Do you get it? It's
So
copy.
You're trying to say we should have filtered the kind of things we took.
Exactly. Look at you, dressed in African attire. Look at you. You know, you see a lot of people on social media, they're trying to be like Cardi B, trying to be like, they listen to whatever she says. That's their own concept of feminism.
Okay.
You know, I don't cook, I don't clean, I don't do this, I don't do that. This is Africa. Do you get it? This is not the US. This is Africa. We have moral, we have values, we have what we call norms. If you've done sociology, you'll be familiar with this kind of thing.
Okay.
In sociology, there's something we call values, norms. Now, everybody, regardless of your status, if you're a father, you have your role in the family. Your role as a father, your role as a husband.
Can I ask you lay down these roles actually?
It does not
Like
include
how
cooking.
they actually defined?
I'll
Okay.
explain to you. Yeah, you have your role as a father.
Okay.
You have your role as a husband. Your role as a father to your children should not be influenced by your role. Should not hinder your role, to your wife. Play your role to your wife, take care of her. Your role to your children, take care of them. It shouldn't interfere with your status outside. Maybe you're a pastor, you're an imam. You get it? Now, your role as a wife too. Your role, you have your kids too. Take care of your kids, take care of your husband. Whatever your role, your duties to your husband should be, do them. Whatever your duties to your kids should be, do them. Do you get it? And I believe, parents should jointly take care of the children. You understand? Jointly.
Okay.
Take care of the children. Don't shift roles. Do not shift the role of a father to the mother. Do not shift the role of the mother to the father. Whatever the father is supposed to do. Like if you look at in the Black American world, they love basketball. You see kids who will say, my father taught me how to shoot my first hoop. It's a thing of pride for them. Every young lad there wants his father to teach him how to shoot his first basketball, So roles should be taken seriously. It's when roles are being shifted you get to see that there are problems. Do you understand? When the father sits there and go and take care of your children, I don't have time. Maybe he has about 15 children, he has 3 wives, and he's so lazy. I know these are things that's part of consciousness.
Yeah.
And it's what evolved to what we have today, these kind of problems we're facing today. Why women will say, no. I can't take this, I can't take what our parents do.
Okay, because we literally have to round up at some point. So Excel, please, I just really want to get your perspective from certain things that he has said. You mentioned something about not, like it takes 2 people to actually take care of the family and all of that. And he also mentioned roles. And because of the way most of this, he also mentioned the idea of, I know you were just being, like you're using her figuratively per se, but people following Cardi B on the internet, and I don't cook, I don't clean, even though we saw a video of her sweeping the house one day. But even of that, what's your take on that per se? The way everything has been interpreted so far and all that, do you still think that there are defined roles? And to what extent actually should we stick to those defined roles?
Or should it be 50-50 kind of role?
Yes, there are roles.
Okay.
It makes running the home easier. Saying sticking to the roles, everybody's flexible now. So we're all here and there. So those roles should and can be flexible.
Should and can.
You have your role, yes.
Yes.
But both of you are partners now.
Okay.
So it can be flexible when one person cannot meet up. Not in a bad way, but you're not just available at that point in time. You can fill in for the other person.
Of course, that's.
Finally, you both agree on something.
No, before we start talking about agreeing, I have a small problem.
Okay, go on.
So every time this issue of feminism has come from his side, he's always giving us reference to, way back those women back there.
Yeah, because you can't look at something. You have to go back to the foundation.
Because my problem is that because back then they were not aware of feminism. They were just trying to make the world a better place. That's why I said the threat started from when we gave it a title. Because most of our women now, most of them didn't make it to media. Most of them are not even known. They've done those small things, those little things in their small community. But you didn't hear about it. You heard about the ones that made it to TV and all that. And then we feel it was,
about that. Yes.
No, women have been fighting for rights long ago. The feminism thing came in as an awareness. We gave it a title.
And it became a problem.
And it now became the problem.
Okay,
so what happens to these women now that have been fighting now right in our faces?
It looks...
They are weak? Are they on social media? Are they behind their keypads? No.
Okay, we're going to round up with this. On a less intense note, how tired are you rather of all this feminist talk for real? And what do you think should be I don't want to use the word permanent solution, but what do you think should be the way forward then?
I'm not tired of the feminist movement.
Okay.
Actually, I'm just getting started. I'm actually doing more research, trying to be more aware. So the idea of people misunderstanding and going towards the whole Cardi B section can, start getting aligned in the right path, right? I'm not tired. I feel people should be more aware about these things and decide how they want to live their lives. And it's okay for change to occur. It's bound to happen. It's okay, I think.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm not tired.
You're not.
You're not.
My only, it's good, just like you said, change is
Okay.
constant. You understand, change is constant, it's bound to be. What I would just suggest is that what do I call it? Those out there,
Okay.
the figures likes of Chimamanda, she will be able to conscientize a larger populace of feminists, you know, and make them see content, make them, you know, they should know what they're doing, should I just say. You understand?
So, placing emphasis on awareness of what it
awareness,
actually is.
Yes, consciousness. What are you really fighting for?
Okay.
Be able to sieve out immorality from morality. Do you get what I'm saying? To be able to sieve out immorality from morality. I'm really scared for our generation and the generation coming.
But you have nothing to be worried about.
People who don't get married anymore.
People what?
People who don't get married
That's a
anymore.
different topic.
Okay,
That's
okay.
on the other side, totally. And please don't limit feminism to Chimamanda alone. A lot of people have made efforts to explain, but you know our generation these days.
She has written books.
But she's
she
not just
has
the,
done her own quota.
But you know she's not just the picture, right?
But she has done her quota.
Her voice was the loudest.
Yeah.
But it
Yes,
doesn't
and she
mean
has a really loud voice.
she should. Now she has made her point.
Yeah.
Most people just did not get it, and it's now starting to look like they misunderstood, and it's fine. So they'll probably have to find their way back home, or
Something about that.
Actually, I feel Chimamanda should be called a feminist. To me, my own, I feel she's an equalist. Yes.
That's another perspective. Well, it's been an amazing time with you guys. At some point, I really didn't even know what to take in. So I was just like, what is happening? Okay, should we go back and forth? But it's been an amazing time with you guys on the show. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Like you said, is there a part 2? And I hope that there is at some point.
There's
looking forward to
Yeah.
part 2.
I really hope that there is a part 2 at some point. But thank you. You made this thing so lively. And to our viewers out there, you know that you can always catch us right here on TOS TV Network every Wednesday on all our social media platforms. Until next week, Wednesday, do have a great day. My name is Ruel Penao.
And I am Cynthia Ezeku. Do have a lovely week.